Good evening, lovely spirits. It's the humble servant of the life, the wise one, Mr. Solace. Now, today I want to do this video called Tupac Mandela Effect. And it's a deep thing I want y'all to grasp. Now, there's this rapper named Troy A, and he has a new album that he's about to release called Tupac. And he's been getting a lot of flack for this because you know how it is in today's times. If you reference yourself to Tupac in any way, you better be one stone cold gangsta ass nigga, because Tupac was one of the realest people to walk this planet. This is how it's viewed in today's times. So it doesn't matter who you are. If you reference yourself to Pac in any way, you better be real. And it's a deep thing I want y'all to grasp. Now, the brother Troy Ave was shot, locked up, released, and then shot again. And we all know the same thing happened to Tupac. So anytime in the rap community or in the ghettos, if someone is shot and survives, they're referenced to Tupac, or they either reference themselves in some way to Tupac. So being as though the brother Troy Ave, the rapper, got shot, he said the feeling is kind of like Tupac when he was alive. And this is why he's naming the album Tupac. And it's a deep thing I want y'all to grasp, because here's where the Mandela effect lies. Now let me give y'all some quick history on Tupac before I reveal the Mandela effect. Tupac had parents. Now, his parents were in the Black Panther Party. So they were revolutionaries, and they were fighting for the liberty of blacks and basically fighting for our equal rights. And this was their life. A lot of those people died and put their life on the line for this. And this was Tupac's family, parents. This was his whole world. Now, as a child, he was taught all these things, black history, and, the Panther Party was deep on the knowledge. You couldn't just join the Panther Party. You had to take up lessons and learn history and know some sort of self. So Pac was brought up in this. So he already had a certain level of knowledge that the normal child his age wouldn't have. And he was put into good schools. He went to Baltimore School for Arts, and he took up dancing and acting. So a lot of people think Tupac was just a rapper who got into acting like the rest of the rappers, and this is untrue. Tupac was an accredited actor. He was no different than Jada Pinkett, Tony Danza, all these accredited actors that act and went to school for this. He's no different than them. He went to school with Jada Pinkett for acting. He just chose to be a rapper. So you have to grasp, Pac went to school and he was groomed and put on a certain path to basically continue the Black Panther Party, but in today's times, and bring about liberty and equal rights. So he was set on that path to be that for our times. Basically to be like the new Malcolm X or Martin Luther King for our times. And this is the path that his parents and those that was down with the party that was still hanging strong, this is the path and the plan that they had set for Pac. He was going to be a powerful voice in the black community and in the world. And he was going to bring about change. And he had the intellect. He spoke proper. He was groomed for this. So it's a deep thing you have to grasp. Now, Pac used every piece of knowledge that he learned. So he went to school for dance, and he used dance. He danced back up for Humpty Dumpty, and he used everything he learned to get where he needed to get. And he became a rapper. And at first his raps were, positive and things of this nature. Then at some point, late in his life before he passed, Pac strayed off the path that he was placed on. And he went left. And this is where the gang stuff came into place. Suge Knight, the gang member stuff, and all of this. This came when he strayed off his path. And we tend to think that Tupac and Suge Knight had a beef, and Suge Knight may have set him up and killed him, or whatever the case may be. But y'all have to understand, they had no true quarrel. Pac just knew he was set on a certain path. So this has nothing to do with your friends and none of this. This is when you dealing with yourself and family. And I was set on a certain path. And he knew he was straying off his path. See, the acting and the rapping and all of that, that was just the beginning of the path. To build up the stardom, not the stardom, but the following and the notoriety. So that when he speaks, people will listen, and he had something important to say. But he strayed off that path when he had the little problems in the rap world where you got locked up, and then Suge Knight bail you out. Now you around Bloods, and you start slipping off into the gangster world. Now we have to remember, Pac's still young at this time, 23, 22-ish. So he's still young, and you stray off your path. You get older, you stray back on your path. So he always knew, I got to get back on my path at some point. Then Pac was killed. Now, in today's times, when we speak of Pac and people reference themselves as Pac, or whatever the case may be, when Pac is brought up, he's brought up in a gangster manner, meaning Pac is a gangster. If someone gets shot and survives, then they're referenced to Pac. And it's a sad, deep thing that y'all have to grasp, because this is where the Mandela effect in Tupac is. What Tupac was when he was alive, the youth don't know that Pac. All they know is the last 2 years of his life, when he strayed off his path and got killed. And then you have brothers like Troy A, who is my age. So he remembered Tupac back in those times. And he know it was so much more to Pac. In fact, Pac getting shot and playing the gangster role, this was the downfall of Pac. This was him straying off his path. That wasn't his life. So if you're talking about Pac in gangster terms, you need to grasp, Pac did everything according to gangster culture wrong. But as far as him being a man on a positive path with a real goal in life, this is what he's supposed to be remembered for. He's supposed to be remembered as an accredited actor, a poet, someone who went to one of the best schools, or a good school at least, and took up the arts of acting and dancing. He was a revolutionary, the descendants of the Black Panther Party. He had a powerful voice. He had, I forgot what you call it. He spoke with good etiquette. Y'all know I'll be losing my thoughts. But Pac was everything perfect and positive that a black man should strive to be before he strayed off into the gangster path, which was only like 2 years of his life. So we all know if Pac was alive today, he would have strayed back on his path and been doing what he was supposed to. And then when you have a brother get shot and say, I'm like the new Pac, you completely destroy Pac's legacy. For the youth, for him, and everything. See, we don't ever think about Pac if he was still alive. And he was a 45, 46-year-old man. You really think he want to be remembered for the last foolish 2 years of his life? Getting shot, doing all this dumb stuff. Mind you, we talking about somebody who was supposed to be the next Malcolm X, the next Martin Luther King. And he knew this. So how you think he felt if you know you're supposed to be the next Malcolm or Martin? You deal with these people. So they knew Pac. The nation knew Pac. Farrakhan knew Pac. All these great leaders knew Pac. They knew, like, he gonna speak for us. And you stray off and start running with Bloods and shit. That's gonna fuck with you. So you gotta grasp. He knew he strayed off. Now, you think he really want to be remembered for the straying off? So you got to grasp, when we speak of Pac, we got to stop diminishing our great ones. Because I like Pac. I think he was a great man. But y'all love him for his stray off, where he fell off and was a fool. Because he didn't do nothing by the gangster life right. Everything he did in the gangster world was wrong. He joined the gang too late. You running around floating through the city doing shit wrong according to gang culture, but he's popular, so it slides. But when he was alive, people spoke of him as if they speak of Troy Ave now. Like, oh, he's a bozo, he a clown, he got raped in jail, he's a bitch ass nigga. This is how Pac was spoken of when he was alive. And it's only respected now because he weathered through that storm and he kept pushing forward like, fuck y'all niggas, I'm MOB, I'ma mob it out. And he got caught up in that. And we view Pac as that gangster. And he wasn't that gangster. That's why he didn't even last 2 years in that life. Because he had a greater path that he strayed off on. And we need to speak of Pac and the path that his family had set for him. And let's speak of him in that nature. If a brother's speaking in a powerful voice trying to reach the people, let's say he's like Pac. If a brother's reaching and fighting for the equal rights of their people, when the Game and Tupac went out there and they stood face to face with the cops and they did their little protests, I forgot what had happened, but a lot of y'all remember that. The Game and Snoop Dogg, they came together, they brought Bloods and Crips together, and they went down to the courthouse and were standing face to face with cops, and they communed with the cops peacefully, and it was a deep thing. It was powerful. Now, it was stupid to me because y'all know how I feel about riot, about all that kind of stuff. But my point is this. When they did that act, we should have said, man, they did a Tupac move. You see what I'm saying? Not when Game got shot, he was like Pac. But when Game went down near to that courthouse and face to face with them white cops and was talking and letting them know, man, we people. You dig when he was like Pac in that moment. When a brother won a award for a great acting job he did, he was like Pac. When one of our brothers graduate from college, he is like Pac, because this is the path that Pac was truly set on. And we diminish his whole legacy when every time we speak of him, it's a gangster ass nigga on the other end of that. Talking about he like Pac. No, nigga. You can be like so many other gangsters. I was gonna say you can be like Guy Fisher. But a lot of them old school gangsters that was big time gangsters, man, they was revolutionaries too. See, brothers is only lost like they are in these times. When I was growing up, man, drug dealers, they wasn't making little kids sell drugs. They was giving little kids money so they could get the fuck out the way. They would give us money to get out the way. The drug dealer was a part of the community. Niggas wasn't ratting on the drug dealer. That was their protection. That was their loan if they needed groceries. The drug dealer was for the community. He did what he did. And everybody got whatever they needed and everybody ate, and it was bad times and people understood that, even the drug dealer. So everybody was trying to help everybody whatever little bit they could. And when I was raised up, it was still the same a little bit, but it was starting to change where blacks was just going against each other. See, I was born a little bit before crack came out. So you got to grasp, crack came out heavy 86. But you know, it came out a little bit before that, maybe 84, 83, 85. So I was born a little bit before those times. So when crack hit, then slowly after that, so around 90s, things start changing. And, you know, the communities ain't the same, and drug dealers is putting pistols in young niggas' hands and saying, yeah, you go smoke them. So I'm not from that times, it wasn't like that. But that's how it is now. And when we speak of Pac in this way. As if he was a gangster, and if you get shot and you survive, nigga, you like Tupac. And it's like, no, man. Tupac was so much more than that. How can you just... I ain't never heard a brother say, man, the way that brother was speaking so powerful at that black community conference. When he was speaking for equal rights, man, he was sounding like Pac. Oh, man, when that brother won that Oscar for his acting role, he reminded me of Pac, because that's where Pac was going. So we got to keep Pac alive in that way and understand the things he would have accomplished. Pac would have been winning Oscars and Grammys. And you gotta understand, man, he was so much more than that. He probably would have been winning the Nobel Peace Prize and all type of things. Because he was a poet, he was a screenwriter. It was so many things. But he was so young and he was moving fast, though. You gotta think. He died 24, 25. 25. Biggie died 24. But Pac died 25. So you figure at 25 years old, forget 25. At 20 years old, he was an accredited actor, a rapper, a poet, a screenwriter. He was more than most people is success, meaning he did all these things. So some of us may have one talent. You're a rapper. You're an actor. You're a great poet. You're a screenwriter. And he was all of that. And accredited. Not just a nigga that say, oh, I'm that. But he went to school for this. Just like the rest did. Not to say that that what makes him accredited, but just to give you a sense. From any angle you attack his goodness, he was accredited. If you want to say, oh, you have to go to college to be an accredited actor, well, he did. So you have to grasp. If you want to say, oh, you have to be a dancer, you have to went to the arts, he did. Whatever you say, he did it the right way. So it's a deep thing y'all got to grasp. Now, all those accomplishments, we just going to sweep those under the rug so that every time a nigga gets shot, we can say, oh, he like Pac? And this is what Troy Ave has to understand. Because while y'all beating him up, and every time he say something, y'all jabbing at him and uppercutting at him and saying he's a bozo and he ain't nothing like Pac, explain to the brother. Because I think Troy Ave got a good spirit and a good heart. He just like Pac. He playing around in a life that he really don't need to be in. A lot of people be in a gangster life, they stray off and go into the gangster life, and then things get crazy for them. And it's a bad thing. Gangsters last because this is their environment and they belong. They may get shot or whatever, but it's nothing. It's just a part of their day. It's like a football player getting hit. It's just a part of the day, but that's their life, and it don't stop. Pac ain't lasting against the world that long. Troy Ave need to be careful pulling for that. You pulling to be a dead man, and you pulling for the wrong things. Misleading the kids, making them think that Pac was all about getting shot and going to jail, and he wasn't about that. His whole existence and life of him that we know, he was a good man on a good path that could have brought us some great things. In the last 2 years of his life, he strayed off a little bit. And this is what we pull for and glorify in his life. Mind you, if he was alive now, I'm sure he wouldn't want people even talking about that. It's a deep thing y'all gotta grasp. You destroy your man. Whole legacy, because you forget the man got to grow up. So grasp that. A lot of y'all don't look at Pac and say, oh, Pac is 46, 45. You don't think of him in that way when you speaking of him. This is why you say, oh, if I got hit up, this is why Troy Ave gets shot up and say, I'm the new Pac. Because he's not thinking like, yo, you saying this about a 45-year-old grown-ass man that's into whole other things. Because this is what the case would have been if he was alive. I'm sure he wouldn't have been running around talking dumb shit about getting shot. You figure Jay-Z is on the level he's on. When I say that, I don't mean money. I mean in the sense of Jay-Z wears suits now and he mingling, jingling. He got his hand in little things, trying to bring about little change here and there. And this is Jay-Z. So imagine where Pac would have been now at this age. Suits on, probably dealing with all. We'll probably have, so it'll be crazy, man. But we need to start glorifying the good about Pac. And a lot of y'all need to understand. Because a lot of y'all are like 35 years old. My age. If you're 30 and over, you need to truly understand that when you sit around and you say, oh, Pac was a real nigga or a gangster, you sound like a fool because Pac died at 25. So when you looking at Pac and you like, oh, he was so wise and this and that, You gotta remember, he's 10 years younger than you are now. Meaning he's a little kid. But y'all like, nah, he was wise. He was ahead of his time. If Pac was ahead of his time, and it doesn't matter if he was only 24 years old, and you view him as smart, not saying he was dumb, but you view him as smart and you could learn a lot from him. Not saying you couldn't. That just goes to show you the times we in, where the young is smarter than the old. So this should let you see right there. The whole existence we live in, y'all have completely go backwards. And y'all reach to justify what is completely absurd. So in today's times, a young brother will be teaching and have a little knowledge. And people will say, you could learn from a young man. And I'm not saying you can't, but it's a sad day when the old has to learn from the young. Grasp how deep that is. Y'all have to learn from people younger than y'all. There should truly be nothing that you could learn from the young. Unless it's a new thing, but you should know more than the young. There should be truly nothing that you could learn from the young. This is how it should be. You was here first. But this is not how it is. We look to the young. Y'all watch Tupac and say, man, he was the realest nigga in the world. And he 10 years younger than you. What are you talking about? You should be looking at him as a little kid, like you would anybody 10 years younger than you. But we don't. And we say, no, I could have learned a lot from Pac because he was ahead of his time. But he's still 10 years younger than you, and this is the mental state that we in. Doesn't matter if a person's younger than you and you're old. You never look at yourself and say, damn, I'm older than the brother. Why do I need to learn from him? Not saying you can't. I'm saying the times are so fucked up that young people do have more knowledge than old people. But that's not to say that that's right and that actually makes sense. It don't make sense, but that's how it is. And this is how you know. This is how off track with the life we are. We so off track with the life as people, black people, that when one of our great brothers make one small mistake in his life, we glorify the small mistake and we make that the best thing of his life. Speaking of Tupac, we reach for the 2 years he strayed off in his life and made mistakes that led to the end of it. We glorify that part. Motherfucker gets shot. He said, I'm like Tupac, nigga. Fuck you, nigga. Hit him up. It's a deep thing y'all gotta grasp. Niggas start throwing up ganging and shit like that. You like, oh, I'm on my pocket. I'm mobbing, nigga. Money over bitches. And all this kind of crazy shit. And we never refer to Pac and the great things he did. I don't understand this. Brother was in school and doing all types of great things. Things that y'all don't even do now. And y'all act like he never did these things. We don't even speak of it. It should be a rule in the black community from this day forward. If you get shot, if you are ignorant rapper, it don't matter who you are. If you ain't on a positive path, looking to bring about change and got some type of revolutionary qualities about yourself, you can't be referencing yourself to Pac. If you got shot, don't reference yourself to Pac. Let's stop speaking about getting shot and Tupac in the same sentence. When you hear about brothers graduating from college and doing great things and great poets and very articulate, and when you hear these type of things, let's say, he's like Tupac. When you see Brother Polite speaking, if you love Brother Polite, and he speaks articulate, say, oh man, he's on his Tupac shit. Whether you think he's a con or whatever the case may be, he's articulate. He tries to learn. He's on a path that's positive, whether he's doing positive things or not. The path he's on is a positive one. He may stray off like Pac did. He may not. Whatever the case is, the path he's on is not that bad. He speaks many languages. He's a scholar, so you got to grasp. These type of things you should reference to Pac. Not because the nigga got shot the fuck up and didn't die. It just makes Pac so much less than what he is. And I wish his family would speak up and say things like this sometimes too. Because they know the path that Pac was put on wasn't for that. He was about to be something so much deeper, man. Y'all don't grasp what spirits blossom and blossom and bloom into. Y'all don't grasp that. Y'all get caught in the small little parts of their life. And it's a deep thing. But the main thing is we got to start pulling for the positivity, man. And stop looking at all the negative things that we do in the community as good things. Selling drugs ain't a good thing, man. If you do it, you do what you got to do to make the best out your situation. But there should be no glorifying of it in any way. When I was growing up, we lied about selling drugs. We said we was in construction. And any dumb thing we could think of. We heard it on a movie, we used it. I'm in construction, baby. Why your hands so soft? I'm in the union. Shit like that. I'm a union delegate. That's why. I just sit at a desk. But I'm in construction. Brother tell you anything. I'm a barber. Tell you anything except I sell drugs. That was a rule when I was coming up. You never told anybody you sold drugs. You know how shameful that was? That's why back in the day, all drug dealers had little corner stores and shit like that. I don't care if it was a front store. They all pretend they was legal. It's a deep thing y'all youngsters got to grasp. A lot of brothers went to jail and a lot of knowledge was lost and y'all just came up in the streets lost and dumb. But if you think back, all the drug dealers had barbershops or some kind of store. And they pretend they was legal when they act like they went to work every day and they so hella dope. Today times is different. We glorify it. This leads the kids to being dumb, and then they sell drugs and they never buy anything legal with it and build on themselves. And it's a deep thing we got to grasp. We got to stop pulling for the negativity and the dumb stuff because it does nothing for us. We don't even reach for the positive in a person. Put it like this: a person that have negative things, positive things about them. Y'all are dig and scrape and scratch for all the negative dirt y'all can find about a person. And completely ignore all the good. Mind you, this is your own race you're doing it to. So what does that lead to? Making half or most of your race look like despicable losers because no other race is digging and scratching to it. You don't see the whites doing this. Oh, let's dig and scratch and expose this motherfucker. Maybe when the presidency is going on and they hate Trump. But this is like the only time you see foolishness like that. You don't see this white actor digging and scrapping and scratching to try to find some negative things to say about this one or this country white pop star. You don't see this in other races. Maybe sometimes, but we all do this. This is all we do. We don't reach for nothing positive. We tear our own down. We look for any dark, deep secrets. If we can't find none, we make up some shit. We don't care. If it's negative about them, we want it out in the public. Mind you, this is your own race. So what does that lead the race as a whole? Nowhere. Gotta grasp, man. You gotta start thinking bigger than yourself. Slavery messed people's minds up. It made them start to only care about self and I got to make it. And you forget about everyone, and in that you lose. Because it don't matter what you do, you can't change what you are and who you are. Which is basically just a spirit in a body. But we live in an ignorant existence where you have nationality and race. Things that truly make no sense, being as though everybody's a sperm cell inside of an egg. I didn't know sperm cells had all sperm cells is the same color. It's a deep thing. And if you ain't a sperm cell that got an egg, then you shouldn't even be watching this video because you're retarded. But everybody's a sperm cell that got an egg, and it don't matter what color the egg was or what color the egg turned out into because the sun was shining on it. Only thing that matters is the spirit that's inside that egg, the sperm cell. And everybody's really the same. So it's a deep thing y'all have to grasp. But we live in a world where you have nationality and race, and you can't change that. You can't change how people look at you. So I can bleach my skin and turn white, but people are still going to look at me as black as Solace. So you have to grasp. Not saying I'm black. Y'all know me. I'm gold. I'm the brother that came and told y'all facts. I'm not black, nigga. I'm gold. I don't know what that is. What's black? My shirt is black, and I never seen the nigga this complexion. I did the other day. I actually seen a brother the color of my shirt. It was amazing. I wanted to go up and shake his hand and tell him, you are the blackest nigga on the planet. You need to be in the Guinness World Book of Records. They pay you for that, brother. What are you thinking? Anybody see this brother would have said, oh my God, I never seen nobody that black. And it's a deep thing y'all have to grasp. You need to go get him some money and stop playing around. You got to use your qualities for what they for. Ain't nobody black as a motherfucker like that on this planet. Then that means you one of a kind, nigga. You better go make that do something what it do. Y'all threw me off track, got me speaking ghetto. I'm sorry. I'm pulling away from that. I'm trying to be humbled because this is all that matters. See, you get knowledge and you let the knowledge form your actions. The more knowledge you get lost in it. It begins to form your actions. And you don't do the same dumb things you did in the past. And you just begin to slowly change and bloom. But it's a deep thing because if you're already humbled and peaceful, you don't actually need any knowledge because you're already on the path. See, a humble man will never be lost in the physical things because he's too humble. So he'll never have 50 cars. He'll just have whatever car he may need. This is what humility is. Only take what you need. Not greedy, not lost in the physical. So a humbled man don't need no knowledge because his actions is already what the knowledge should get you to at some point.